Yeah, we talk, we learn, we laugh out loud on CrossTalk. Go CrossTalk, go CrossTalk, go CrossTalk, go CrossTalk. Yeah, we talk, we learn, we laugh out loud on CrossTalk. Go CrossTalk, go CrossTalk, go CrossTalk, go CrossTalk. Yeah, we talk, we learn, we laugh out loud on CrossTalk. Go CrossTalk, go CrossTalk, go CrossTalk, go CrossTalk. Yeah, we talk, we learn, we laugh out loud on CrossTalk. Go CrossTalk, 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 go CrossTalk. Yeah, go CrossTalk, go CrossTalk, go CrossTalk, go CrossTalk. What's up? What's up? Welcome to CrossTalk, where we give you our take on subject matter that affects us in the spiritual realm as well as the physical realm, and we also talk scripture. It's all about Christ here. Again, welcome to CrossTalk Internet Podcast. I am your host, Minister STEBO, and as always, I got with me my two partners in Christ, me and Lynn, and the Archbishop Stephen Thompson. He's named after me because, well, I won't trouble y'all with that. But
thank you,
yes,
sir.
we are back in the building. We ain't seen y'all in a week. We so glad to see y'all again. See y'all little smiling faces. Okay, we can't see y'all smiling faces, but y'all get the point. But stop right now. Make sure you stop right now. Share the show. Click those likes and hearts like crazy so we can get this crosstalk to trend, and it'll pop up on people's timelines. I see y'all doing it right now. Hey, mama, I see you doing it. What's up to Shira? What's up, Shirley Dukes? What's up, Shonda Dukes? I see you with the fancy emoji. Hello, crosstalk. I see that. Should have had the speaking emoji for talk. That would have did it. That would have set it off right. But
you mean
yes.
CrossTalk got its own emoji?
I mean, hey, humbly submitted. You know what I'm saying?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I tell you, out of the three of us, I'm probably the most humble. Out of the three of us, you know.
I thought I was the most humiliated.
I mean, that's how y'all know that I'm more humble, because I'm more humiliated than all of y'all.
Yeah, what?
Welcome to CrossTalk.
I tell you better slow that down.
Welcome back to CrossTalk. We are, of course, y'all see we having fun, but we're also here to offer instruction, offer information, and offer illumination. Y'all like that? I know y'all do. Now y'all can dig it. Hey, what's up, Niecy? Next time I see you, Shonda. All right. Well, how y'all doing? How was y'all day, fellas?
Awesome. I'm here, and thank God that I'm not just alive, but I'm living.
Yeah. Good to be seen and not viewed, right? Man, Lynn, how you feeling today, my man?
I'm feeling broke in after 5 days of being off work due to the snow. Shoot, I feel like I had to shake off the rust today. I'm here though. I'm good.
Just wanted to say what a good thing it was being back in the house on yesterday.
Yesterday at church, yeah.
Yes. What an experience.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Remember, God is faithful.
Yes, he is.
Even when
life seems unfair.
When life seems unfair. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, what's up, Stephanie Price? Minister Smith, welcome to the show. Make sure y'all share it, like it, all those good things to get us trending. Don't be shy. Don't be stingy. Don't be cruel. Y'all thought I forgot about that, didn't y'all?
All right, so right in the first, we're gonna jump right on in. This week we're talking about Black History Month, um, Black History, Black History Month, everything that's um, related to Black History and Black History Month. Thank you, Tiffany. What's up? How you doing? Thank you for sharing. All right, so let's start off with the civil rights movement. Civil rights movement, and the first question of the night. We're going to go with who who were your favorite leaders? Who are your favorite leaders of the civil rights movement? Um, let's start off with our resident bishop right now on this
Well, I
one.
think, excuse me, go ahead.
No, you got it. I was just saying
Oh,
we're starting off
okay.
with you.
Yeah, just saying a very pleasant good evening to everybody, and thanks be to God for all that He has been, for all that He is, and all that He is trending to do, even during these tedious times. Um, some of my favorite leaders, and the good thing about it, during those times, I had the awesome privilege of being alive
Hmm.
when some of those people were uh,
Doing that thing. Yeah.
doing their thing as far as the civil rights movement went, as far as Martin Luther King and Ralph Abernathy and Jesse Jackson.
Yeah.
So many of those, and I had the distinct privilege of being around to be a part of those things. I shared the pulpit on occasions with Reverend Jesse Jackson.
I remember that.
Uh, yeah, and those are the ones that we're more familiar with. I just wish so many of our younger people, of these millennials, were more interested in some of those figures. We don't really have anybody that has took the stand to step out now.
Mm.
Of course, there's always somebody standing in the gap, but most of them now are standing in the wings, waiting to be able to boost somebody else. But those leaders, as were doing my time, and those Martin
Real
Luther
quick,
King.
real quick, Bishop. You said there's nobody like right now. Why do you think that is?
I really, I don't think anybody has the mind to just want to step up and step out. It's
Mm.
not a popular thing now, and people have to be able to move beyond popularity and what's popular with people,
Mm.
and just have to just step out. Sometimes you got to stand alone.
And that's
Why
probably
not
right
me?
there. That's probably right there the reason why we don't have those type of leaders as we did before, because it starts out with you standing alone,
Yeah,
you know. But
absolutely.
I didn't mean to take you that far out. But your favorite leaders, my bad.
Yeah, Martin Luther King, Ralph Abernathy, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, John Lewis. Those were some of the ones that I was more familiar with, and those who I thought that just stretched on out there to do the thing regardless of the backing.
Tiffany Davis says Rosa Parks loved her story and example, appreciated her subtle yet firm stance against segregation. Awesome insight.
Yes. Yeah, and that was another. I had the opportunity to be in her company, also, and like I said, to be able to meet these people and to be able to put a name or face with a name, and to be able to say, yeah, I shook her hand, I talked to her, and these
Hmm.
are real people. It's motivating.
One of my favorites is Dick Gregory. I remember
Okay.
meeting him. I remember meeting
Yeah.
him in an elevator in Detroit, Michigan, at a convention that we were going with you with that.
Right.
I remember that. Me and Lynn, what about you?
I would have to say Excuse me. You guys had me on ice so long. I think I got all choked up. Um, I would have to say the ones that I was exposed to growing up. Of course, we all were exposed to Martin Luther King. I have to say that he was a favorite of mine solely because,
Yeah.
not solely because he was the poster child for civil rights when we were growing up, but I really got off into Martin Luther King in my 30s because there's a reason why he has doctor before his name. I think I
Right.
really got caught up in the fact of the theologian that he was because, just growing up, all I knew was the I Have a Dream speech.
Yeah.
But then I got more exposed to his character, more exposed to the fact that yes, he did laugh. He did joke. I mean, he had a very uh, a very diverse character, and when you just see one side, if you when you just see the public side and the "I Have a Dream" speech, he just seemed one dimensional. But when I got a chance to see him like on the Tonight Show, I'm like Martin Luther King was on the Tonight Show, and cracked this little joke about the airplane, and Johnny Carson
Mhm.
asked him why are you scared to fly? He said, not necessarily scared to fly. I have experience with God in the airplane, but I have more experience with God on the ground. So I would take my groundwork over the air work. I
Yeah.
was like, this man is crazy. Just getting that character out of him. And then the fact that even with the I Have a Dream speech, there were many other renditions of it. The one that's more exposed is General, but when he had spoken in a room full of doctors, I mean, the I Have a Dream speech took a whole nother flight because this man really was a doctor in his craft. I mean, I didn't realize that he was so versed. I was like, wow, that was impressive. And then I have to say, Fred Hampton, Huey P., and Geronimo Pratt of
I
the
thought you were
Black
about to say
Panthers.
Fred Hammond.
No. The Black Panthers, not solely the guns and everything, but the fact that they just knew how to fight the law with the law. They were so very versed with the amendment rights and everything. And the crazy thing about that was the more scarier part than actually the guns. The guns, that it brought in a whole nother complexity. But the fact that these brothers were educated, they were actually
Yeah.
educated. They wasn't just a bunch of thugs carrying guns. They were literally educated, and the public couldn't really deal with that. As a matter of fact, knowing the amendment to protect the rights that they actually used against the public, it really scared them, in such a manner as Malcolm X, which was another favorite, and of course a common exposed. I just love the authority that he came with. They were all fighting the fight from different foxholes and different perspectives, but it was still a fight nonetheless. And it was just a lot of leaders that was coming from all four corners of the earth with it, and the public, they did what they could do to try to dispel them or end it. And they may have ended certain things, but the fight waged on. And I really
Yeah,
like
they
those.
might have taken out a few fighters, but the fight still goes on. I see what you mean.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now,
The
real
proverbial
quick before
going.
we go into this next segment, you brought up Malcolm X, and I was actually going to bring up Malcolm X, but now this brings up a thought. Who do you think played Malcolm X better? Who's your favorite Malcolm X
Denzel.
actor?
Denzel.
Yeah, yeah.
Although the guy in the Regina King movie kind of looked it a little bit more like him to me.
You know
I
who does a
actually,
really good job? The guy on Godfather of Harlem.
yeah, yeah. But Denzel killed it hands down
Yeah,
though.
most definitely. I mean, when you think of Malcolm X, you think of Denzel. Yeah,
Oh,
yes,
really?
I think so. I mean,
When I think
really.
of Denzel, I think of you can't do that to me.
Right in the day.
I was just thinking. I was like, I don't know. When I think about the next,
He's
I
like,
don't think of Denzel.
all right, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
But it's probably hands down Denzel. All right, so second question. What were some of the challenges? What were some of the challenges that people faced during that time of our nation's history?
Wow.
Let's go opposite way this time. Me and Lynn.
I have to say, marginalism. Where they were pretty much kept or put into an unimportant state, treated as insignificant, peripheral, treated as second-class citizens, um, broke down economically, politically, culturally, based on systemic lifestyle of the mainstream. This is how they treated us, so to speak. So I would have to say marginalism in the greater sense that, they were bound.
Mm. What about you,
Question.
Bishop?
When are you talking about?
We're talking about in the we are
I
talking
see what
about
I see what he means. I see
because
what
I
he means.
mean
You
because
hear what I'm asking?
Yep, ta-da.
right. See, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
I was thinking
I
of this
saw.
particular time, but it's contemporary. It's I mean
Right now.
not only right now, but biblically.
I mean, as I was saying yesterday in my message, who would have thought 2022, here we are debating voting rights.
Right.
I mean, we're facing the same type of things. Some of it has been whitewashed. It's been
How come we got to be
dressed up. It's
whitewashed?
been put a little cloak on, like you say, marginalism. It's maybe you might be able to say it's galvanized now, so it shines. So people don't. Uh, but the same things. We are experiencing the same thing. It's under different cloak. It may be called by a different name. Uh, we are blacks now, whereas then we were colored,
Hmm.
but we're facing the same issues. People still moving out when people move in.
Right.
A
Has
lot of
it has
confusion.
it changed?
I mean,
Um,
what's going
Those
on came
issues,
out in 1974, and it's still relevant as today.
you better know it. Right now, it is still the same message. They were talking
oh,
about that a few days ago. Matter of fact, I got the album. It was
um,
given to me. Yeah, but they were talking about that. It's still relevant. The same things he was saying then in the song "Mercy, Mercy Me."
mhm.
All of those things are flagship right now.
Inner City Blues.
All of it.
in
Uh,
in my opinion, I would have to say that it would be the degradation. It was, I guess it would go hand in hand with what me and Lynn was talking about with marginalism. Um, but I'm not going to, however, I'd say that just because something is marginalized doesn't mean that it's degraded. And the fact that you would they would go so far as to make it painfully obvious that we were beneath them, by the name calling, niggers. You can't drink. You got the colored bathroom. You got the colored faucets. You got in the same building where there's a heavyweight heavyweight championship fight or a concert. You have segregated, you know, places where you can sit. This is where the blacks sit, the color sit. This is where the whites sit. Oh, and then if you see in these movies or these portrayals that if they used a restroom or a water faucet, you can see that we don't want to use that one. You know, that. Go ahead,
And
Bishop.
then again, Brother Thompson, you look at the Green Book,
Mm,
and whereas you
good
have
movie.
a frontliner, star liner doing a concert and can't come in the front door where he is a frontliner,
Right, because he's black.
has to change clothes in a bread closet,
Mm, yeah,
and you are the star, but you can't come in and sit at the table in a room where you're playing.
where they're paying you to be.
Yes.
We
Oh
just, I
my
just, we
goodness.
just saw something like that on the Janet Jackson documentary the other day, or
Okay.
whatever. The brothers they they couldn't come in through the front. You know, the Jackson Five couldn't come in through the front, but they were the
Mm,
headliners. You
yeah.
know, I was thinking to myself, well, shoot, they can't come in through the front. Shoot, why be front stage? You know, like what is the problem? But they just don't want to share the same air.
Yeah,
Overwhelming mindset. Yeah. You look at Ray Charles being
I was
not
just about to
able to.
say that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just saying. You can go ahead. I was just saying how I liked that portrayal of Ray Charles by Jamie Foxx when where was that, Georgia,
Yeah.
where
Atlanta.
he wouldn't play in Georgia because of the segregation,
Yes.
and he turned right back around and left, and they banned him, and because he wouldn't be subject to the segregation that they were trying to, Jim Crow laws and all that kind of good stuff.
Oh my
The
goodness.
funny thing about that is kind of like, he already said he wasn't gonna do it. And then they turned around and banned him. So that's like he's saying, I quit. And they said, no, you're
No, you're
fired.
fired,
Yeah.
right?
Like
Yeah.
they really did something, you know.
I was floored by the portrayal. You know, when what Chuck Berry in the movie, and they thought he was white.
Mm-hmm.
They thought Chuck Berry was white before they saw him
Because of how
because
he
of his
sounds.
songs. And then they
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to. No, you're not Chuck Berry. You can't come in here. You the wrong color, Chuck Berry.
Right.
But those things, as I said, they have been sweetened. They have been covered. Uh, this new wine has been put into old bags, and that's why it keeps breaking,
Mm.
because they're still trying to sell the same thing just with a different bag.
What's that movie? And we're gonna move on to the next subject. But what's that movie on Amazon? I think it's something like One Night in Vegas or something like that, where it highlights Malcolm X.
Regina King's movie. Yeah, one night in Miami.
One Night in Miami. It was Miami. Okay, yeah. That yeah. If you haven't seen that, and this is to anybody that hears me, but if you haven't seen that, that is a great movie to watch. Sam Cooke, Muhammad Ali,
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X, and
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown. Yep. Jim Brown.
Brother Thompson,
Yes, sir.
is is that like the movie my supervisor told me about? I could take my family to
No,
go
sir.
see.
We'll get into that. That's my favorite movie though of all time. Oh man, we'll get at that at the end of the show. Remind me of that, Bishop. All right. So next question. Next question is, how do you think children felt during that time? Bishop, you said that you came up in this era. How do you? I mean, how old were you in this?
Brother, when Martin Luther King was shot, which was in 68,
Right.
yeah, I was 23, and well, I was still a kid, still a kid.
Mm,
No, I wasn't 23. No, I wasn't. I was well, figure out the number. A youngster. I was
13.
still in high school. I was still in high school. Uh, yeah, I was 13. I was 13, 14 years old. And the way you feel being around, and hearing about and hearing Martin Luther King and being almost like in a personal thing, well, you felt like you knew him. And we felt like when that happened, it was like you just took somebody out of my family. I
Mm.
think children during those years
I
felt
think you were 23.
closer to the movement,
Hmm.
even though they may not have been a part of it. It was more realistic. It meant more. I think to an extent, time has caused people to become weatherized, and they, don't feel as close to the movement as. And I know that there still are some. Uh, in a way, we kind of, you kind of felt like, well, that's just the way it is. I remember when I was a little lad down in Arkansas, we used to go to the wrestling match. My daddy used to take us to the wrestling match, and there was a little Caucasian boy who lived, nobody lived next door, but down the road from us. And he would go we would ride in car together. He would ride in our car. But when we got to the door to go into the building, he had to leave and go in the other door, the
Mm.
white folks' door.
Hmm.
And we went in the black folks' door. At the end, the counter inside of the arena, black people could only walk up to the end of the counter. You weren't
Mm.
allowed to go the length of the bar.
I like the concession.
Yeah, like no, it was like the where they sold the
Oh, okay.
beer and water and
Yeah,
sodas
yeah,
and
concession
everything.
stand.
It's a long, the long bar. But you were able to go to the bar per se. You had to walk up to the end of the bar.
Mm.
Mm.
And but the thing of it was we didn't see it as racism. We didn't see it as segregation.
Mm.
Because when the wrestling match was over, we would come out our separate doors and come right back. He would come back with us, and we'd all get in the car together.
So you,
And to an, that's just the way it is.
right, right. That's what I was just about to say. So you didn't look at it as oppression or segregation, or
No,
you just looked at it as, hey, this is what has to happen, and I'll just see you later.
yeah. And we sure we had the desire. We wanted some of that quote unquote, some of that white water.
Mm.
Yeah. But it
White
wasn't
man's
like
ice is colder.
you're not keeping me from it. That's just the way it is. So I
Uh,
go get my own water.
wow, wow.
Yeah.
Lynn, you got some.
And come, when you get right down to it, like the little boy found out in the movie, white water, it all come out the same pot. It just come out differently.
Right. Me and Lynn, you got something real quick to answer to say about it?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, how children probably could have felt. I mean, just because they were children, just in the same manner that we felt, when we was growing up, in the 80s, we all stayed in condemned houses over on the west side. Didn't even realize we stayed in condemned houses on the west side because everybody's house, was pretty much the same.
Right.
And I mean, we didn't know that we were not rich.
Right.
Like she got everything I wanted for Christmas. I didn't know that we were, that we wasn't felt. We wasn't made to feel like we were broke or we were poor. We didn't realize that we were on the lower scale. It was just the way that it was. And we had our little bit, and we just thought that we was doing good until better came along. And if it wasn't for better, we wouldn't have known that we wasn't doing so well.
Gotcha.
But That's just the way that it was, you know.
Yeah,
All
you
right,
know, Minister, I hear my sisters say a lot of time, my sisters and my brothers, they used to say, we didn't know we were poor.
right.
We didn't tell each other we were poor. Nobody said you ain't got you. The people crossed the road from us. Nobody said y'all ain't got. Everybody was there.
Remind
It was the same thing. Nobody was poor.
I
remind me
mean,
We
the
were
of,
all
house.
reminds
rich.
me of, reminds me in Genesis where God said, "Who told you that you?"
Yeah.
Ah,
But we got to
I
move on,
mean,
y'all. We can stay on this for like ever. But
because it's
right, we
still
got
around.
It is.
exactly right. But now a word from our sponsors. All right, so if you haven't had the opportunity to stop by the corner of Natural Bridge and Jenner Station Road, go by there and get some really good fish and seafood. Get by the fish house and sample some of that awesome menu. Tell Tammy and Jerry that the good folks at CrossTalk podcast, let them know we sent you. You probably won't get any free food, but you'll get some good food.
Most definitely.
Also, go ahead and slide in Brother Stewart's DM. Order you a few Made by God t-shirts from Brother Stewart. I got on mine today. You see that? Made by God t-shirts. You can find them on Instagram at madebygod._. And nobody bakes a cake. Wait.
You didn't rehearse.
Right. Man, I lost it. Where is it?
There's no cake baked like a cake baker bakes until Carlos Sauce bakes your cake.
Yep. Or you could go with nobody bakes a cake like Carla Saul bakes a cake. So get your cake baked at Anointed Cake Creations. It's all
Come
good.
on with it.
Hey, come on. I feel my help now.
All right.
I feel my help coming. Yeah. All right. Also, if you're a reader, pick up your copies of Bishop books, He That Hath an Ear, anywhere that you can download ebooks, and pick up Stair Steps to Answer Prayer. You can get that at www.stairstepstoanswerprayer.com. And an author I like to say all the time, Elaine Raglan. Manifestations by Elaine Raglan is available now for your download at bookbaby.com. Go ahead and get Elaine Raglan's Manifestation. All right, and we're back. We're back. All right, so our next topic, home sweet home or versus home away from home. So our Bishop,
Yes, sir.
should black people claim America or Africa
As home.
as home? Yes.
Oh, man. I don't know if let me go this way. I had planned a trip to Kenya and it got canceled.
Can you reschedule it?
Oh.
What?
Oh, golly.
What? That was off the top. I just
Y'all
freestyled
forgive
it.
him.
I just freestyled
Yeah.
that one.
Y'all forgive me for producing something like that. Listen, no,
Can you
really, what I'm
reschedule?
saying, I went that way. I went that way to say I've never been to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So Africa is not my home. I was born, reared, and raised here in the U.S. of A., and this is what I consider home. This is my home. I may have ancestral roots in Africa somewhere. However, I have never experienced those roots. So I don't disassociate myself with Africa, and neither can I associate myself as far as it being my home. No. So I am not a proponent of considering Africa as being my home. If you are not from there, no. So should black people do it? I can only look at it from my perspective. No, I don't.
Okay. Man, Lynn.
Well, I was pretty much going to say the same thing because,
All right, next question. No, I'm just kidding.
wait, I ain't. I was going to pretty much say the same thing. I mean, we're not from Africa. You know, maybe we have ancestral roots there, but we're not from Africa. I'm not from Tennessee. I'm not from Mississippi, but my mom and my dad are.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that my birth certificate doesn't say that. So I can't say that that's my home. This is where I am. This is where I've always been. This is where I've grown up. So I can't say I'm a Mississippian or a Tennessean. I'm here in Missouri. So I'm a Missourian. You know, so with that being said, we have a tendency to be, I'm going back to Africa. You've never been. You can't go back where you never been. You know, and if you go over there, them people won't understand you. They won't know you. They won't claim you. For as much as we're over here saying that we're them, they're not saying that they're us.
Right.
You know, there's a difference between race and ethnicity, you know, and that's where we have to, you know, we have to draw the line somewhere. You know, I'm from Africa. No, you're not. You're not from Africa. You're from Canaan. You're from Enright.
Do you remember the representatives who were disparaged by? You remember? Well, that was probably before you. But when people walk around talking about, I got an afro, and they say, you know, they had that delegation from Africa. Why you call that an afro? That ain't the way we were.
Right. None of us got our hair like that.
No.
All right. So next question, real quick. Should black people still be angry or still have a degree of anger against the white man? Not necessarily white people, but the proverbial white man for taking our ancestors from their land and making them slaves. Let's go with me and Lynn first.
It just seemed like we have a generalized skit when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us don't even really know the dynamics of that. And we just want to get mad because we supposed to get mad about it. You know, we hear about it, or we from what we've understand about it, we supposed to get mad when we hear about it. You know, see a movie, you know, and be like, oh, I'm so upset. I'm so angry. I wouldn't. It's like holding a grudge, you know, that you don't even understand. You know, it didn't happen to you, you know, but you did this to my people, and then to a people that you ain't even trying to go back and really see where did they fall in your family tree. You just claiming all of them, talking about this happened to my people, you know. So I mean,
that's
somebody
really...
might get upset. Somebody might get upset by this answer, but I'm like, I wouldn't say just like holding an imaginary grudge to me.
That's
one thing. That's one thing about
paying rent on something you haven't even gotten.
That's one. You said you made mention about my people. You know who take that term very seriously? Asians. You can't call a Korean a Vietnamese.
Yeah.
You can't call a Vietnamese a Chinese person.
Right.
You know, they know where they come from. They know exactly where they come from. And that was just a little
very particular about it too.
Right, that was just a little detour. But Bishop, should black people still be still have a degree of anger? What do you think?
What are you angry about? Is it a person, or just, as Minister Duke said something? I feel like I ought to be angry about what? I don't know. I just, you know, what they did to my people, and then my people warring at the same time, one with committing genocide, and yet you want to claim that, well, it's all his fault. And after a while, it gets to a thing of where you're faulting somebody for everything that is negative in your life, something that you have never been a part of. They didn't do anything to you. Certainly, you're not lapping up behind them because they are who they are. But what did they do to you? What are you angry about? And if you are you angry enough to do something positive about it? Or venting that anger in a positive way.
Right. And that's kind of where I was. There's nothing wrong with being angry. There's nothing wrong with anger. It's a healthy emotion when you use it the right way. Kind of like when Bishop was talking last week, when you fight, when you argue the right way, it can be therapeutic.
Yeah.
Right. Anger, there's nothing wrong with being angry with the circumstances, but just like Bishop said, what are you going to do with it? Are you just angry because, like Bishop, me and Lynn said, because I feel like I'm supposed to be angry? I saw a movie for a long. Yeah, how many people can watch? How many people can watch Roots without getting mad? You know, it takes a very special person. It takes a very special person not to watch Roots and not get mad. I mean, to watch Roots and not get mad. But what are you gonna do with that once you see where our people, what we were subjected to? Are you just going to be mad at white people, or what are you going to do to kind of propel change? Because as we said about 40 minutes ago, it's still going on. A lot of this stuff is still going on. So what are we going to do about what are we going to do to promote change and what we're facing? You look like you about to say something, man. Lynn, go ahead.
I do. You know what? I was thinking it too. I was like, anger provokes. It provokes action. But what kind of action is it going to provoke? The Bible says, "Be angry, but sin not." You know what I'm saying? You can be angry. You can even act upon it, but don't sin with it. Yeah. So it's like the anger is going to provoke something. So what is it going to do? Is it going to be an agent of change, or is it going to be an agent of destruction? You have to weigh those options before you act upon this anger.
Right.
You know, so that's all.
Go to work tomorrow and take the white person's staple off their desk next to you.
Flip over their pens.
All right, you guys, we're about to pay a bill, and we'll be right back in.
So, are you tired of hearing the same old songs on the radio day after day? Or maybe you just want to hear some good old local gospel music? Well, I have something just for you. The Voice is Me Too Music's 24/7 online radio station that plays the very best in St. Louis gospel artists and abroad. So you can tune in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at www.metoomusic.com. That's www.metoomusic.com. Click over on the Voice page, and you can listen at any time to any of the best in St. Louis gospel. The Voice, giving a voice to St. Louis area gospel.
Hey everybody, this is Tamika Fogel. I'd love for you to pick up my project entitled Always There, featuring Yes, God is Real, the Hallelujah Worship Medley, my title song, Always There, He's there through your thick and your thin. And much more. Be sure to get my new project, Always There, available on all digital outlets. Get it now.
Say,
welcome back.
We're back. That's true.
Right.
Oh man.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, so real quick, if you like good music, I'm humbly going to tell you this, but if you like good music, go on over to www.gabrielmusic.com. You can pick up one of the best albums ever, Gabriel, Minister of Music. Also, you can pick up the remix album, Minister of Music, the remixed version. And you can pick up the second album by Gabriel. That is an awesome recording as well. Also, you can pick up Glad I'm Saved, the single by Gabriel, all on www.gabrielmusic.com. That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Humbly submitted.
Humbly submitted by one of the greatest artists to ever do it. I'm just kidding. But so we're back, and our last segment, 28 days of Black History. 28 days of Black History. First, we're going to go with the first question. Do you agree with Morgan Freeman's opinion about Black History Month? Did either of you guys hear what he had to say? I mean, this is old. It's an old comment, but did either of you guys get a chance to? Well, let me give you guys some context. So, Morgan Freeman. We got time anyway. We got 13 minutes. We're doing really good. So Morgan Freeman did an interview some time ago, and they asked him a question about what he thought about Black History Month. And his hey, what's up, Bridget? Thanks for tuning in. Share the show. His response was, I don't like it. I don't like that we have Black History Month. I don't like that we have Black History Month. And the guy said, well, why not? He said, well, what month is White History Month? And the interviewer, he kind of pulled back a little bit. He was all like, well, I'm Jewish. And Morgan Freeman said, all right, well, what month is Jewish History Month? He was all like, well, there is none. He was all like, exactly. So why do Black people need Black History Month? And I
hope he was being facetious.
Well, this is what he said. This is what he said. Black history is American history.
And I'm in total understanding of that. And the reason I said I hope he's facetious in saying that, why should we have to have Black History Month? Why should it have to be set aside?
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm saying is that it's like, I hope he's saying that there should be no reason for there to be a separate thing. Now, of course, there is, because all of Black history has been squashed down through the years, and it's just a time of an unveiling. But it should not have been, even from the beginning, because that history was made contemporarily with Native American, with American. It was being made at the same time, but it was kept underfoot, so to speak. So there should be, if things were right, which they are not, if things were all right, there should be no need for a Black History Month. Unfortunately, there's a great need for it, because so much of Black history has been tainted and turned, and so many
redacted.
in inventions that were given to our Caucasian brothers and sisters persuasion were made by blacks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, why? Okay, I'll do this right before, and you can chime in on this too, man, Lynn. But why give a Black History Month? Why do we feel like there was a need? Okay, let's do a Black History Month. And this is just something that popped up after Bishop said what he said. Why a Black History Month?
And I'm in total agreement. I feel like, with our inventions and with our discoveries and our talents and everything, we were treated like ghostwriters. All of these things came about, but we didn't get the credit for it. And so many things, the accolades that went along with all of these great inventions, with all of these things that America is pretty much can't live without,
Yeah, right.
erased us from the history, literally. And America don't have these things, but they want to have these things and then keep us out of the history. So it's like, how can you possibly, how could you possibly have these things? Oh, we can accredit them to this person or this person or this person. We can give it to the Alexander Graham Bells. We can give it to the big names, but we're going to keep these ghostwriters here in the back. We ain't going to let people know that they did it, So it's like there is a need for the unveiling of the truth, and the truth can only be hid for so long. So yes, there's definitely a need to expose the things that we did and go back and look at the blueprint.
But why Black History Month? You know what I'm saying? I'm in total agreement with you that there's a necessity to view the history of what our ancestors, our forefathers, and all that kind of stuff. But to kind of echo Morgan Freeman, there's no White History Month.
I totally understand Morgan Freeman, and I to a degree, I do agree with him to a degree, but I do feel like it was very much needed because, and I don't want to break into the next question, but at the very same time, you can't hardly help but to that. Okay, well, it's some noise that had to be made because it's some noise that had to be made because we were kept out of history. You look in our American history books and we see all of this other fictitious history, but you'll never hear the fact that, America was built on our backs, this great country of ours, but we correlate that to George Washington. We correlate that to, all of these, this side. But it's like you have to make some noise somewhere. And it started off with the weak, It's like this got to be put out there. It's got to be put out there. And it was put out there by a Black historian that was tired of seeing us being overlooked. So it's like it started here. It expanded to a month. People wouldn't know if it wasn't for this month. You can't get mad at when it was, and then if you even look at that, white people didn't give us this month. The origins of it started from the Black historian. So it's
wait, you going into the next one.
I'll say I can do it without.
Right. But you opened the door. And when I have access, then I can use my ingress to make progress. I'm in now.
Yeah.
I'm in, like you say, a week. Okay. 2 weeks. Now a month. Okay. There are 11 more. I'm in now.
So,
and nobody told us that Black history has to stop February 28th.
Yes.
It ain't Black History Month, White History Year.
That's my whole point. And if you see the topic right up top, the 28 days of Black history. It's like after 28th,
Well,
after February the 28th, and maybe February 29th on the leap year, is like Black History. The study of it or the appreciation of it is over until the following year. So I mean, do you, if you look at like the commercials now in February, if you were totally disassociated
Oblivious.
with the calendar, you'd know what month it is just by watching TV. Because now you got AT&T, you got ESPN, you got all of these channels and companies observing Black History Month and the people that had a lot to do with Black history. But will you still appreciate it March the 1st? Will you still be an advocate of, hey, learn about this person on March 1st? That's why I'm asking, do you agree with?
Yeah, same as Christmas.
Same.
Right.
I don't think anybody, you can, the month ends February 28th, but you can't stop me from thinking March 1st. You can't stop me from continuing my search and dealing in this revelation. Because now I've got a foothold.
And if it wasn't exposed this month, then I wouldn't even have nothing to think on.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, all of this stuff is coming out this month, and got me over here in March wondering, like, man, so what would we have done without the expanded invention of the peanut? You know, what would we have done without a hot cone? What would we have done without? I mean, it's exposing these things. But that don't mean that it's going to be done. It's just like when we had the Christmas CrossTalk, and I'm still hearing about, oh wow, so you mean X isn't taking Jesus out of Christmas?
Right.
You know, when you expose to something, it don't go nowhere after that due date or whenever we call ourselves, celebrating this situation. But if it wasn't exposed, then it wouldn't be nothing to talk about. So it's
Two words.
Mm-hmm.
And it brings us to our next question.
Mm-hmm.
Why February?
That's when it started. That's when the Black historian started. He particularly chose the second week of February. Woodson, Dr. Woodson, Charles. Was it Charles Woodson? No, it wasn't Charles Woodson. Carter. Was it Carter Woodson? Carter G. Woodson. Carter G. Woodson. Yeah. I'll say Charles Woodson.
Dr. Carter G. Woodson.
That's close enough.
I'm a Cowboy fan.
Actually, anyway. Check this out. Right, I caught that. Right before you go, man, Lynn. Jerry Malone said Dr. Carter G. Woodson, a Black Harvard PhD historian, started Negro History Week in 1926 as a result of blacks not having positive images projected in society or given credit for their inventions.
Exactly. He made the noise. And picked particularly the second week because of Abraham Lincoln's birthday and was it George Washington Carver? Frederick Douglass. It was Frederick Douglass.
Yeah.
And so he put this illustration of freed slaves and then unlimited tap black potential all in the same week from here to there. So this is where we're going to make the noise that we're going to expose the fact that we have been overlooked in history too long. We have been overlooked in inventions. We've been overlooked in talent. We've just been overlooked. So that 1 week started some noise that President Ford went on ahead and said, hey, well, let's give them this month in conjunction, so to speak. But that's where the noise was made. That's where it was started. It was started by the black man. So it wasn't that the white people gave us this. That's where the noise was made.
Y'all can have that. Y'all can have that. Sit over there.
That's where the brother started the noise at. So it's like, some change was made from his anger of the situation. Positive change came from it.
Yeah.
Bishop, real quick, you got anything?
That's forceful. Yeah, that's saying it. There was a need for the exposure. and there was a need for someone to cause the explosion. Those things came together. Necessity is the mother of invention. So the necessity was there, and it came about. Thank God for it.
All right, I got a really, really quick. I hate to say devil's advocate, but I don't know what other
Hurry, we went in time.
cliche to put there, but it's been 1926 we said, right, when it started, 1926, and then for Black History Week it was upgraded to Black History Month in 1976. Anybody get where I'm going with this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When do we upgrade it again?
Well, I think it's being constantly upgraded every day. People are becoming more aware of it. And because people are becoming more aware of that past, it causes a present celebration that's leading to a futuristic continuation. So I think it's being constantly upgraded every day. When younger people are finding out about their heritage and knowing that you're not driving a car that was made by necessarily just Henry Ford, but your ancestors.
Right.
And I think
first open heart surgery.
I think it's being upgraded every day.
Open heart surgery, stop signs, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
Black people. Man, Lynn?
Yeah, we don't even have to limit it. We don't even have to limit our thinking to just the month. The month made the noise, but our thinking it can transcend the month. We don't have to just worry about 28 days. But as long as it's being exposed, it's not going to stop the continuation as well as the exposition of it all. So I'm like, I wouldn't do away or get mad like Morgan Freeman was saying about I don't even want it. Let's do away with it. Well, if we do away with it, then we're going to regress because people are not going to be hearing about it as much.
Right.
Might as well go ahead and sweep it up under the rug if we're going to do away with it. Look at all the positive exposure that that became of it. And as Eazy-E used to say, free publicity is good publicity.
We don't advocate Eazy-E on this.
No, we don't.
You should have known.
But we deal with the secular as well as the spiritual.
Right. You should have known by now. Easy do it. But so real quick, it took 50 years to get a month.